It's Julie Saillant. How are you? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. I am your intuitive spiritual healer, helper, however you want to look at me. I am here to help you find your mission here on earth, find your gifts, get in tune with them, figure out what they are, how to use them, and become the amazing divine being that you are meant to be. I am here to pull you out of the shadows. I am here to guide you and be your light so that you can be a light to others as well. So thank you so much for being here. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget also to comment, because I always read your comments and I love having all of you just watch the videos, and I'm glad that you're getting so much out of them. So thank you for being here. Just a quick note before we start, I have started the Brave Academy. If you would like an application for it, the link is below in the description box. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, I have a few slots open. So if you'd like to do that, that's available as well. So we go by numerology on this channel, right? And this is for the 11s. I pretty much feel like I'm going to be only working with you guys in the future. And the reason why is because a lot of times I do videos for the other numbers and they don't respond, but you guys 11s always pull through. I'm an 11, as you know. So the Master Life Path 11, I mean, I'm going to really support the ones that, you know, holler back at me. So this is for the 11s. If you're new to numerology, Master Life Path 11s are, we've been reincarnated, have had more lives than other numbers. That's what the master numbers are all about. We usually have bigger missions, meaning not just a mission that's out of your community, but usually for the world, something huge. We're here to do big things. We're the most intuitive out of all the numbers. And we are indeed a little bit different, right? We roll differently. We are very sensitive. We think about things 5 ways to Sunday, and sometimes we overthink, but we are here to change the world and we love to share our light. So thank you so much for being here. Today, I want to talk about you, and I want to talk about stepping into your power. Now, this can be whether this is for you individually, whether you're a spiritual being and you're just doing your thing, but this can also be for you if this is, I'd like to talk about your business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you have your own business, or if you're working in the corporate world, whatever the case may be, because stepping into your power is not an option, although a lot of us treat it like an option. I say this because I've recently been going through this myself, and I thought, what better time than to talk about it with you guys? Have you guys been struggling to stand in your power? And do you know what I even mean when I say that, right? So it's really easy to say, oh yeah, just step in your power. Oh yeah, totally in my power. But the reality is that as 11s, we have some core quirks, things that we've gone through that I believe really hinder us from standing in our power. Now, when I say stand in your power, what that means to me, and let me know what that means to you, comment in the comments box, let me know what that means to you, because I like all of my clients to stand in their power, but it's a little bit of a process. Standing in your power, I mean, what does that mean to you, right? To me, it means that I am a divine sentient being. I am here on planet Earth with gifts, and I am to use all of my gifts to my greatest ability to help you and myself, to help the world, and to make the world a better place, right? We want to leave it better than we found it. That's what we try to do. It is for my highest good. It's for your highest good. And it's about learning the lessons, right? Getting out of our own way, and then accessing the power that God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, gave to us, right? That's kind of the way I think of it. So in other words, you're not just floating around here as a regular human, right? You're a Master Life Path 11. You know you're a divine sentient being. You know you have gifts that are off the chain. You may or may not know how to use them. Some of them you may, some more maybe not sure. It depends on where you are. If you're just beginning your walk, if you're unsure of your gifts, if you're just creating your foundation, you're just starting to meditate, you're just getting into talking to your guides, your ancestors, your totem animals, you're probably not thinking about stepping into your power yet because you're just beginning. If you've been walking for a little while and you're actually using your gifts, you're figuring things out, you're getting help if you need it from someone like me, or you've been watching online, that's when things start to click for you. And then you're like, huh, there's a lot more available to me. I really think that there's more out there, and I just have to figure out how to get to it, how to access it. Every single one of you has power. Every single one of you has personal power, and every single one of you has divine gifts that have been given to you at birth, okay? Nobody can ever take those gifts from you, but you have free will. So you can say, hey, not right now. I'm not ready. I got to think about it, whatever the case may be. Those gifts will still stay and wait for you, okay? But as far as you stepping into your power, that's something that you actively have to seek out. And there is a process to it. Now, what I want to ask you is, when we access our personal power, everything changes. I believe it's part of you remembering who you are, because we have gone through many lifetimes. Even if it's just a few, even if it's 3 or 4, or it could be 10 or whatever, it's all a process of us remembering who we are. And last night, my grandmother came through and she said, as you remember who you are, once you remember, you'll feel like a click, like it'll click in, like your seatbelt, it'll click in. And that click in is so that the guides know where you are, that you've moved into alignment, right? Because when you're searching for your power or you're stepping into it, you've got to know, right? I'm not in it. It's around me. It's really close. I could feel it. And then when I started remembering who I was and remembering what I'd done, remember the power that I'd had and that I can access at any time, that you can as well, right? That's when it clicked, right? So to click into that, what do we need to do, right? And why would you want to do it? Well, of course, you'd want to do it because 1, it's your birthright. And 2, it's because your power, you need this power to really amp up and to be all that you can be, right? To really change and be not just someone who gets along and is getting through life, but someone who's thriving. There's a big difference between people that are just getting by and people that are thriving. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about emotionally and physically and how happy they are, how much abundance they have around them. What are you vibrating out into the world? Because remember, everything that you feel, everything that you process, you send out into the world, right? And I always have to remind myself, because I forget sometimes. So if you're not in a high vibe, if you're in a lower vibration, which is fear is a huge one, anger, frustration, all the things that we don't like. And that goes out into the world. People feel it. The universe feels it, hears it, and sends it back to you tenfold, which is why it's so important to get a hold of your state. The state that you are in will come back to you tenfold, right? So if you're vibrating out of abundance, which is joy, happiness, love, right? That's what you're sending out to the world. That's what you're going to get back tenfold. So always try to be in that higher vibration. And by stepping into your power, you're going to access everything that was your birthright, right? And the ability to have some of the information that you used to have back in the other lifetimes, which are memories as well as lessons. I mean, how cool would it be to have the lessons from a life or two ago, lifetime ago, and have them here and now, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Of course it would. It'd save you so much time and energy, right? So that's why we want to step into our power. However, stepping is not always easy. It's easy to say, it's not easy to do. Why is that? Let's talk about it. I can tell you, so I'll tell you from my own personal experience, and this happens to almost every 11 that I've worked with, that I've spoken to, is that when we were young, we were not accepted by our family. And I had a wonderful family. I'm serious. Like, I had a really good family, but they didn't know quite what to do with me a lot of the time, right? And that's true of a lot of 11s. So what happened is, you know, you'd be expressing yourself or you'd be reacting to something on the TV and everybody else does not understand why you're freaking out or crying or whatever. And they'd be uncomfortable. So they'd tell you to stop. And then you realize at a very young age that the people that are around you do love you, but they don't know how to work with you, how to communicate with you, and you feel unsafe, right? So if you feel unsafe, a lot of us just shut down. We just said, okay, well, if everybody else feels uncomfortable, I have to shut myself down. And that's what we did. And then that turns into an adult that does not know how to turn themselves back on, their gifts back on, or they do, but it comes out really as kind of like, well, I'm going to do this and you can't stop me. Like very like, I got this, get out of my way, that type of thing, right? So if you haven't felt safe, that it's okay to be you from the time you were young, it's going to be difficult, not impossible, but difficult to step into your power, because stepping into your power requires you to stand out, right? It requires you to be vulnerable. It requires you to say, okay, here's the question I want you to ask yourself. And you've had this probably one question or one phrase or one assumption, one belief. What's been holding you back your entire life? It's usually one thing, right? It's usually one phrase, one assumption, one sentence. What has been holding you back more than anything else? Is it that you're not good enough? Is it that you're not smart enough? Is it that you're not capable? Is it that you don't have the right connections? Is it that you just can't find a way? You can't get out of your own way? Whatever it is, right? Write that down. And then I want you to ask yourself, where did it come from? And chances are, you could have picked it up from your family members. You could have picked it up from society. You could have picked it up from a friend, from TV, whatever. But then what happened was, instead of it kind of rolling off you like it's supposed to, you took it in and you held it close to your heart and you took it in as gospel. So something as simple as, you are not good with money. Okay. Think about that for a second. You'd be like, well, does that really matter? Well, when everybody around you in your family has told you, and they make fun of it and make jokes about it for years, your entire life, years, you're not good with money. You don't know how to balance a checkbook. You don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that. If you wanted to have your own business, that would be in the back of your mind, consciously or unconsciously, right? But they've reinforced it for so long that you start to believe it, right? And then it only after so many years of you finally pushing through and going, you know what? That's actually not true. It's actually not true. I'm actually really good with money. So you can break through it, but that's just an example, but it can hold you back in every area of your life, because what happens is, no matter what that is, if you're saying, I'm not good enough, or I can't do this, it's usually negative. That translates to something that you're trying to do right now in your life, or you've tried to do in the past, right? So what is that one thing, that one sentence, that one phrase, that one assumption, that one belief that's holding you back? Where did it come from? And then ask yourself this question, is it true? Because here's the thing, if it's true, it doesn't matter. You can bypass it. You can move through it. You can crush it. You can get rid of it, right? It may not even be true. It could be just something that you've just been holding on to because you just haven't picked it up to look at it yet. But now's the time to get rid of it. So if it's not true, get rid of it. And even if it is true, you can still transmute it into something positive, from negative to positive, right? With affirmations and changes. This is all about your mindset, because your mindset rules everything. What you focus on expands. What you focus on is what you feel. What you feel is what you experience. It's all part of your life, right? When you give energy to something, it grows, right? When you give energy to a relationship, it grows. When you give energy to a business, it grows, it expands, it changes, right? The only way it won't is if you pull your energy back. Just like when you pull your energy back from someone, they can feel it, right? It's the same with you. If you pulled your energy back from me, I'd feel it, right? Same thing. So you can get rid of these things. You can push through them, right? And it's really important that you make sure that you do get rid of what's ever negative, because the more positive that you have around you, the better energy you have. The better energy you have, the more that radiates out into the world. And then the more comes back to you, right? So is this going to help you move forward? Yes. How do we step into our power? You have to remember who you are. You have to actually think about this and reach back and say, who am I really? Am I really the person who doesn't have any strength? Am I really that person that's weak? Am I really that person that's always not prepared, right? Who am I really? What do I really want out of life? And only you can answer these questions. But I would start by saying affirmations that are all positive and turn all that stuff around. I really am prepared. I really am that person. I can go in and do Akashic readings for you guys, and I can give you all the lessons that you've been, not all, but some of the lessons that you've been through in past lives. And trust me when I tell you, they help so much with knowing who you are today. It doesn't matter if it's from the Egyptian times or from the 1800s or just one lifetime ago, but all those lessons help you now, right? So your power is all based on what you need to move forward and your highest self. So I would start out by A, trying to remember, and B, accessing your highest self. So that highest self is, what does that person look like? How do they speak? Who do they hang out with? What do they do? How much money do they make? Where do they live? Right? What are they trying to do for the world? Right? And you don't have to do it exactly that, but I guarantee you there'll be answers there. There'll be like nuggets of gold that you can dig into and go, oh my gosh, yeah, that's so me. Because it is you. It's your highest self coming through. And ask these questions, like, what would my highest self do right now? If I was my highest self, where would I be living? Right? What would I be doing? Who would I be helping? How would I be helping? How would I be showing up in the world? Right? That's powerful, because your highest self has it all figured out, because everything's running on all cylinders, right? Everything's going really well. There's not a lot of strife with your highest self. So tapping into your highest self, start asking yourself these questions. What does that person look like? How do they move in the world? How do people react to them? That's a good one. Like, do people get out of the way, or do they want to come towards them? Who are you helping? Who are you serving? Is it kids? Is it animals? Is it other businesses? And how do you help people? And you may not have all the answers all at once, but you'll have them a little bit at a time, right? This is the best work you can ever do, because when you step into your power, you're going to start remembering things and they will click. And then what happens is, once that happens, your power lines up with you, right? And now you can move forward, because now you'll have answers that you didn't have before. And now you'll have thoughts, patterns will start to show up for you, and you'll be able to really recognize quickly, that does not work for me. I need to release it. Or that does work for me, and I've got to keep it, and I want more of that. Start looking at the patterns in your life. This is something that I've just started doing. I'm just started looking at patterns for clients, but I'm now looking at it for myself, right? It's that introspection and reflection of what's working and what's not working for you, right? That's the most important thing. Is this working for me? And if not, I got to fix it. Let it go or change it. So I hope this helped you. This is a lot of what we are going to be touching on in the Brave Academy, and it's how to live without fear. It's how to move forward, how to have your business flourish, how to show up in the world in a very positive, strong way, right? This is what this is about. And it's time for all of you guys to start remembering who the hell you are. You're an 11. We're amazing. You got to start acting like it, right? Act accordingly, I always say. And you know, it's all about love and light, but there's a big edge to us. And that's because we've gone through some dark stuff, but we're warriors, and that's okay. That's okay. And that is another reason why stepping into your power is so important, because it will support you moving forward. All right, guys, I hope this helped you. Please let me know. Leave me comments below. If you'd like to apply for the Brave Academy, we'd love to have you. And also, if you want to work with me, all the information is in the description box. Okay, guys, talk soon. Thanks.